Not necessary. Precept is not something imposing on another one. It is just a reminder because everyone come up to the same stage and finish it. And then we can go for the other activities. Therefore, in the ceremonies, Buddhist ceremonies and religious ceremonies, start with administrative precepts. That is to organize the meeting. But otherwise, not necessary because there are a number of cases during the time of the Buddha, without mentioning any kind of precept, they directly became an Arahant, they became a Sotapanna kind of thing. There are no events that they have undergo formal administrative precepts. So when Mahasi Sayadaw is writing in this book, he is asking that under these circumstances, where is the order, the Sila Samadhi Panna? It is not directly they are getting the Dhamma, they enlighten. But when they are coming into the contact with the virtuous person, their mind naturally determination happens. In the purification stage, it is not verbalizing. It is not a formal way. But the purification must happen, just like the operation theatre must be disinfected before the other things are going to happen. That must be confirmed, otherwise it is not legal. It is not scientific. So it is a given fact. All the time it must be there. So it's a formality. Therefore, Sila, whether it is you verbalize it or whether it is in the particular language, that is not necessary.
But do you think it is to go with Parani or previous birth experience, so that in this world, though he is in a different family or different religion or having no morals, whatever, but those people who got enlightened with those conditions, that means due to that sort of previous effects,
in that sense, there is no one have no previous destiny. Everyone is having, because we have unknown out of past. No one is in that sense, and as far as the subconscious is concerned, we are equal. We can't say one person is upper and higher and elder and known and kind of thing. So these are things just the Western world introduced certain amount of criteria according to them, that only we are measuring. These criteria are completely political. Mind works not according to the politician criteria, not according to the politician agenda, political agenda, or economical agenda, or social. Mind works in a different plane. So whenever we are going to talk about the mind, everything becomes invisible. The Buddha asks someone to put up and down, that is the deepest kind of defilement, that is your conceit. Conceit goes at the Arahant level. The Ditti and others you can break at the Sotapanna level. So conceit is the worst thing in our mind, comparison. Comparison is a must in the Western culture. So comparison, only the competition counts. So that only we can sell something. It is completely a business of it. But in the Indian kind of thing, that comparison is something, it's a deepest defilement. We are today committing so much of defilements because of the comparison. And the Buddha says at the beginning of the race knowledge, there were no difference between the female and male. Everyone was the same. But due to the connection with the earth and the properties only, they became separate and they are going to become different. Ultimately, everything becomes chaotic and fighting each other, cannibalism, artism, everything is simply because this comparison. We can't think our life, we can't think our mind without comparison. The thinking without comparison is very stale, tasteless. No hiatus. You can prove something unless otherwise the value, differences in the value. So it's a cancer. It's a cancer in the mind. But somehow we have to make you the same thing. If you wish to enlighten someone, to teach someone, you have to make use the comparison. Ultimately, you have to understand the day you give up the comparison is the day you are going to enlighten. Full enlightenment. Comparison is in natural very yuckic. Unavoidable devil. Unavoidable. But then the education is a cancer. It's always competition. That is how they are earning money. And from that only the machine is running. It is a very less than 200 years in the human civilization. This comparison came into so in a vicious way. Present generation have no way out. They can't think about earlier when we are in our families, in the villages, we have no boundaries. Every mother is the mother. Every uncle is the uncle. Wherever we go, we eat. Yeah. We were in such a way, so it's a clan, not a family. Now not even the family, even within the family members, so much of difference and fighting and...
Okay. I want to ask you a question like this. When I do walking meditation, sometimes I really concentrate on walking meditation, but then suddenly, for no reason, I try, there's a tendency for, I do left, right, I do that sort of thing. Suddenly I go for no reason, I lose my balance and then then I use my concentration. Is that a normal phenomenon or is
it is in the meditation, in the sitting meditation, whenever the bodily form or the materiality come into subtle level, the mind is always become uncomfortable. Feel like you lost the balance. And when you are flying also, there's a one kind of a dive. And when you are doing it, you can feel half a minute gravityless situation, maximum. That is at a certain level they can demonstrate it. That is how they are training the astronauts. So that means within the gravity, you feel gravityless situation only for 30 minutes. It is a transitional period, so therefore whenever the mind comes up to that, the brim of the conventional knowledge and the absolute knowledge, there's a kind of a shifting of the paradigm. So when it happens, mind feel like losing the balance. But once you familiarize it, you can't understand it's a mind-made thing. And therefore don't get hesitate. And therefore you just let the mind to take the slow pace and go there. So it is changeover. It's a threshold where mind goes and more it goes and comes. It becomes more and more immunized, more and more acclimatized into these different situations. And that is the point where that heart attack sometimes whenever happens, people lose the consciousness and become completely collapsed. And whenever they see blood, all of a sudden, they completely collapse. Nothing happened actually. It's just the chemicals in the mind, and that can do. So if you train it in this kind of atmosphere, hardening we can say. If you do hardening like that, you can see that is not callousness, that is the immunity. So that is the way we can say a person become mature, a person become tolerant. So it has to happen, and if you really can understand it, fairly you can manage a heart attack. Fairly you can manage electric shock. Any kind of thing happen, you just do it, just slow it down. Let the body knowledge to happen, take place, and they understand it has its own way of organizing it. Don't get involved in the rational mind, and immediately it will come. If a second person comes, or a particular person becomes agitated or depressed, the situation is very pathetic, lingering, and no one can help you. So that is what happening in the American society. They are not exposed to this kind of thing. When such a thing happens, everything goes panic.
A lot of people died after that. Thunderstorms.
Yeah, because they never exposed themselves. So the nature is such a thing is given the variety of training, different vicissitudes. So more and more you confine to the air-conditioned room and a car and kind of thing, your immunity system never develops. So ultimately, whenever something happens, it is nothing happened, but mind is not capacitization, not capacity enough. So this is a very good thing in the walking meditation. And sometimes you feel you have no control, you are throwing into some places. This is exactly what happens when the high blood pressure comes. Just throw away yourself. These things happen, but they are tricks in the mind. Just tricks in the mind.
One day, regarding walking meditation, my perception, only my perception, I feel the difference between the gap of walking and the gap of breathing. For walking, the gap between left and right, it seems to be before the right can begin. The left has not really fully finished yet. But when I try to separate and see the gap, I feel that it's not a natural walking way. So, if I try to manage to see the gap between left and right, I will lose the rhythm of natural walking pattern, which is unrealistic. Am I getting too crazy about it? Not that I'm into it all the time, but I'm trying to see the gap. But anytime when I try to see the gap, I feel that it loses the rhythm, because when you start before the left will finish, the right is already start to begin. It has before the left will start, which is different from breathing. Breathing, I perceive that I could see the gap, but this is almost like the other one has not finished, but the other side is going to start. But if I try to see the gap, I lose the rhythm.
In meditation, anything if you are going to see, you are sending you mad. Don't try to see something, just it will show. Don't try to meditate to see something. You are creating a turmoil, definitely. Wait till it comes. Anything you are going to see, even the anicca dukkha anatta, even you are going to see body parts, even you are going to see, everything is going, you are going to see, eat sour mango. You are not waiting till it becomes ripen. So it is sour. It is not the mistake of mango, you just wait.
So they just use them.
The time will come, you will even see the gap in the walking meditation when the maturity comes. When the mindfulness comes. When the mindfulness, before coming, if you are going to look into the gap, you are losing the mindfulness. The very mindfulness is lost. Because you are not walking the see the left and the right, but you are going to see the gap. So maybe you are in the proper balance in the sitting meditation where the mindfulness is up to the maturity, then you can see. So exactly the same thing happens, not only in sitting, not only in walking, even between two thoughts, gap is there. So much so, that is the way we have way out. There is no gap, there is no way out. There is a gap. But in the day-to-day activities, our mindfulness is not sharp enough to thin slice the time. So you have to accept it. It's natural because mindfulness is much more sharper in sitting than walking. And that's day-to-day activities. So at exactly the same pattern we go with more and more mastery, more and more seasoning, it will come to know.
And the other day we talked about the state of meditation where you have all these pleasurable feelings and someone can get sort of attracted to it. So I have two questions on that. One is, these pleasurable feelings that we're talking about is like the different vibrations that sometimes you feel as you get it, your mind starts calming down, you feel like wave doesn't wave kind of thing going on. My second question is, as you keep on meditating, do they get less and less? You feel them less and less? Is that true?
Yeah, it's two phenomena. First thing is that how the gladness manifests, how the rapture manifests, have different many the facets are there. You feel lightness, you feel like the vibrations, you feel like waves, sometimes light. So all the kind of thing is a good omen, it's a good sign. So attraction it can happen. Second thing is, whatever you going to experience, there's a sensational transference. For the first time, it is a very big. When you're going to see the second time, you go with the same ambition, but see it. But second day, you don't see that much of silly the greatness. Third day, fourth day, you learn common sense. That is why the progress happens. So the very first day, if you are going to write a book, you can write a PhD. Second day, third day, like it is, what is this? It's nothing. So that is how this is called sensational transference. That is very the deep philosophy the Buddha has used. He some of the other expose yourself to the non-materialistic pressure. So that day you come to know it's a bunch of bliss. And they will understand day by day I am going to go like that. Why not I meditate? But when you keep on meditating, that becomes little off. And then again you back to the same normal pain and normal the materialistic pressure kind of thing. And unless otherwise you keep on practicing. This sensational transference is not only in meditation, in any field. When you are hungry, if you start to eat your place of rice, first morsel is so encouraging, it's so juicy, so sappy, you feel everything. But when you to the end of it, either if you wish you can take another morsel, or even not taking, no problem. It becomes almost nothing. So this sensation transfer is what we are making use. The more and more we go to the better thing at the cost of the good one. So next day the better become good. And then you are bound to see another better thing. And when that becomes normal, it is just good. And you are bound to see the normal. That is how this jhanic experience from first jhana to second, third, fourth. Exactly the same in Vipassana jhana. Exactly the same in a person who is in the kindergarten. That exam is very big for him. But when you pass it off, going to the second grade, third grade, fourth, each and every time, it's very serious. But you reflect back and see when you go in the fourth, fifth grade, what about the first grade? It becomes childish. What is that? First grade is. When you go to the universities and others, people are talking about the exams of the second grade, third grade. You feel like, what is this? This is childish. But when you are a child at that time, the more than your PhD or the university degree, that case. So this is how the mind is capacitizing. Every other excitement become natural. So when Jnananda used to say, every luxury, yesterday's luxury, today is common sense. Everything is luxurious. But when it's come into use, it's not natural. And yet another luxurious thing is going to happen. So this is the way the sensuous world also, exactly the same way toward the knowledge also. Specifically the inside knowledge. More and more you go there, everything slowly becomes dwindling off. Any image, we had very nicely explained the Buddha, in the world is such, anything when you are starting looking for the first time, it's a very big issue, and except Dhamma. Dhamma has no that. More and more associated, become more and more valuable. Buddha also have no dwindling effect. More and more you to see, it become more and more attractive. So that is the way, there is a difference. Otherwise, the worldly aware, that is why we are going for varietal entertainment. Satisfaction, day by day, dwindling. This is exactly true for the meditation experience also. But if you are doing a continuous retreat, you can see the trend. If you experience it haphazard and here and there in the day-to-day life, you can't see it. It's kind of a trend. You think you are dwindling it off due to your mistake, regularly meditating, and therefore you are not going up to that state. That may be the sage and life. But naturally it is the case. If you have a full-time meditation, then you can understand, even if you go the second time, it is not going to be that much of satisfaction.
These days at work, you have this multitasking. And how do you deal with mindfulness when you are doing 2 or 3 things at the same time? I mean, this is expected of you to do that. You know? How do you be mindful when you are doing multitasking? Is there a way that still you do one at a time?
So that when I go to Minneapolis, we went there at 5 o'clock and we had 2 hours of traveling, and 7:30 there was a discussion in the meditation hall. When I go there, there was a team. So immediately they asked me to have a wash and just come for the discussion. So next day we have to go to the meditation center, the Holy Spirit. So that was the meditation. So when we are discussing, I just used that term. But there was an engineer, he asked, one day when you are using in the computer doing so much of thing, but it is doing one thing at a time. Exactly the way mind is working, how can you then define multitasking? There is no multitasking. Such a different things happening in the next thought moment. It can adaptability to the sounds or wave, the picture or decoding, whatever may be. So therefore our mind is much superior kind of this thing. Whatever may be the complexity, one thing at a time is a given. You have no chance. That is why that when the sounds or everything happen at a time, if you are seeing, others are automatically cut off. It is not you. It's a system. But the thing is, our mind never read it in such a thin slicing of time. Therefore, it sees that number of things are happening at a time. Like that is called Ghana Sanya. It gives a conglomeration. We never see thin slices of time. Instead, we see time as a chunk. And the space also, we expand it to the north, to the east, due to our permanence, the notion of permanence. Nissarana, we put the time into a chunk, space into the chunk, and the individual dots we get together just like instead of the individual bee, we take a beehive, easy for us to understand. Beehive is made out of individual bees, but when you take individual bee, it has no permanent soul. It has no full life. If it's a male bee, it has a very specific task. Finished, let's go. Female bees, they have no other life, do all the 1001 jobs. Queen, laying eggs throughout. So likewise, we are same division of labor is there, but when you take the beehive, you take one soul, one activity. Likewise, we are saying if you disintegrate, it is a nice, it's called due to the lack of understanding, they thought it's an intelligent design. Intelligent design by the God. But the natural selection, the Charles Darwin, what he told was, he told at a time we have 1001 options. Which one we select is done by the natural selection. It is not God. That you can explain. That natural selection decide who you are going to become. But once you became, no option is gone. So when it is happening, when you have the full option, instead of becoming choosy, if you can have the choiceless awareness about the full option, that is the Arahant mind. They are not good committing quickly. Our mind is not trained, therefore whenever the desirable thing happens, we jump and grab hold in that. So we don't know how much the opportunities we are losing by selecting one. So that has been explained very nicely by Jnanaponika in this Hour of Mindfulness. He says that by selecting our liking, by selecting our devotion, by selecting our this thing, we don't know how much amount we are going to cut off they are lost forever. So at least if you know by selecting this means rejecting so much, you will understand this selection happened due to what? Due to the desire, due to the conceit, due to the ego. But if you can withdraw, at least see how much did the magnetism happen that is due to these three facts, there is nothing other. And going to see, you can understand, in reality, all are the same. But you give a special remark, special coloration due to your attraction. And you believe this is what going to be the maximum, and it is not assured. But the lost opportunities may be better than this one you selected. So therefore, multitasking, we are very happy to say we are multitasking. To say that we are important people. That is the multitasking. Whatever may be, when it is happening, it happens one at a time. So therefore, you have to understand the things, and they are the most mystics or mysterious theory behind this. Whether there is a chance for your volition or will or your selection, or it is happening in an already premeditated way. Whether things are happening, whether you have selected or not, equal, or by whether there is a bearing upon your selection. This is a target, this thing the Schopenhauer discuss in detail about the will. Many options are there. Can I implement my will and select one thing? He says, whatever you are going to do, what is going to happen will happen. This was a thunderstorm. This was a thundering challenge for the God. And earlier, that very nicely Bertrand Russell put into in his writing the Western philosophy, he says, for the first time Aquinas came and told, everything is not the will of the God, each and everyone has a will, individual will. And he won't tell, if everyone is telling that everyone has a will, they will try to learn something so that they can employ the will for the better. So he wants to get the vote for the education. So in giving the background, he told, I have to accept the will that I am not challenging the God. But I wish to the conglomeration gathering of the cardinals to discuss and pass a vote for will. So they passed it, because Aquinas was a devoted person. And he became the first person education given with the Catholic Church. So it was going on due to the education, many things happened, and Catholic Church told, we have done a very good thing for the humankind. But when the Schopenhauer came, he questioned the will. When he told, whatever the will you employ, is your will. It's going against the nature, going against your welfare, well-being. And that was, it's very difficult for the West to understand. They told that my will is will means I am evil. Whatever going to happen is for the bad. And therefore, he was being neglected as a nihilist. And later the Nietzsche came out and he vehemently took the weapon and whacked the fellows. And together with the other kind of thing, then only he wrote, God dead. Finished. So that indicates that multitasking, whether we are really getting a chance for option, or are we already present that we have to do this. That is, in other sense, we can say selection of priority. When we are selecting the priority, what is the most criterion is economy. What else? Or popularity, or power hunger. Or are we someone going to impose you, telling you must select this one? Usually, if it is the case, it is not an option, it is a punishment. So therefore, whenever such a thing happens, what is the criterion? You select a priority, indicates who you are. No indication. So therefore, there's a very, a very vehement person came to me and asked me that why don't I go to the radio and give a talk on the Anapanasati and kind of thing. I told, I have no interest in it. It's a crime that you have been such an opportunity, why don't you go there and kind of. Then I don't know, I came here for my not teaching, I'm minding my own business. I would like to have my seclusion. And he was, in all the ways, he was influencing me that I must go. Then I asked him, are you meditating? He said, yes, I am also meditating. Then I told him, while meditating, why you are taking so much of tasks? You are not the busiest person in Sri Lanka. Is it an achievement or is it a loss? He told, you don't know how many people are going to get the benefit because I am so busy. So therefore, blah, 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 blah. Then I told, is it in the facility for you to become mindful or not? And the facility or not there may be, but the demand is there. It is your way of categorizing. I am not going by the supply and demand. For the third time, he told that he is doing correct. So then I told that you have become one of the very busy person in the world, in Sri Lanka. So I think you are the slave. The slavery, because you have no way out. Now I have option, if I can be busy, so I can be here. So therefore I am not coming. So by getting up again I ask, for your mindfulness becoming busy is an advancement to progress or recession. At last he told it's a recession. Then I told him, if it is so, why should I go for this challenge? Simply because now I am happy, I am contented, I have no opinion to go and teach other people. When I go to the Melbourne also, and it's a big hall, 200, what number of people are coming for listening and kind of thing. And one person came, he is the media fellow in the university, and he wants to have a video footage. And I am not. He asked me to go to my room and we were discussing, and all of a sudden we went into heated argument. And then running, his wife came, told one thing, my husband is sometimes losing the temper, that is I came that way. He said, your work are going to get vanished. I also have my own temper. I came not to sing, not to dance according to your singing. I have my own agenda, I am not. And then the organizing lady also came and asked Bhante, no consideration. Then he told Bhante, you are talking here only 250 people. But mind you, in Melbourne, 150,000 people available. If I am going to give a coverage, all 150,000 going to listen. Then I told, if 150,000 people come, it's a separate deal. Who are you? You have a camera, that is the only qualification you have. You never meditate, you are not representative of 150,000. So why should I take you as the agent? You are the worst to take as an agent. No consideration. Every individual have more rights than you. Then I have no compromise. I have my own. No one can make agenda for me. If the particular person wants, he can come and talk. I am paying respect and share it. But you have no interest. You have only the happiness, the skill to track the thing, sell it, make a commodity, and this is the way we ourselves put ourselves into the multitasking. Multitasking never comes out of us. The Buddha was the most busiest person for 45 years, but he never missed the timetable. And available even for the gods and the Brahma and the kings and the Pope. Never told he is busy. Never. Busy is business. Busyness is the business. So business makes money. If you say you are busy, definitely you are behind money. It is individual business. Your boss can't decide it. The government can't decide it. You are the person, if you have a moderate life, you know how to say enough for the consumerization, then you can manage with what is the money you have. But if you are going to take unbearable task into it, I think you are burning the candle from both the ends And in my life also, I have been promoted as a chief executive. I was so happy. Once in a way, becoming a chief executive is everything. So ultimately, everything went for a labor problem, and everyone came and striked all that I have to get out. Very nice. So I went to my elder brother. I have now want to share. It's my own way. I went to him and I took 15 minutes and explained. He told, Malli, whenever the responsibilities happen, you must decide how much you can do. You must not put and shoulder everything coming out thinking that I can do it. If that is the case, this is the consequences. You are not for me, therefore I am not going to discuss your question. You have to suffer the cost lost. This is the consequence because you have taken the capacity beyond, taken the task beyond your capacity. This is the consequence. So I feel very irritated being the elder brother discussing, but anyway, it's a very sharp, true-to-type analysis. Of course, it was a real breakthrough in my life. But I never thought when the responsibility is acquiring that I am going to go for too much. I thought I have the full capacity, I can do it. But when the problem happens only, you have to say that it's not due to your brother's problem or my boss problem. It's too much of craving in me, or too much of our hunger. We go, that is, Upadana means they don't know their capacity. They don't know the margin of jurisdiction. Often they trespass. And while trespassing, they don't know they are passing a critical limit. When you go beyond there, got into trap. So therefore Buddha says, whenever you are meditating, your mind must be within the Gochara Bhumi. Gochara Bhumi is the pasture land, your pasture land, your father's land. Whenever you are trespassing, danger is inevitable. So therefore not only the capacity, but the consuming side, relationship with the people, balancing the time, everything is a lifelong experiment. There is no hard and fast criterion to someone to come to and stay for long in the equilibrium. Equilibrium, then and there you have to assimilate. It is a challenge to learn.
But what do you mean by within your limits in the meditation?
That as far as it is all Kayana Pasana, Vedana Pasana, Chittana Pasana, Dhammana Pasana. So as far as you can, for me, simply I can say, as far as you are related to the primary object, you are safe. That's one way, technical way. So then what is the primary object? So you have to say in sitting, you select your. In walking, the touch. In the day-to-day activities, your intention. If you know why I am here, for the intention, whatever you do, and then you know that you are connected. If by this intention, that intention, this intention, if you are sending kites, then no one can help you because no backbone.
I don't know this question or I'm just going to tell you this experience. So I just want to see whether it is a progressive thing or is it sort of going backward or something like that. I'm a little bit confused in this situation. I was meditating and then the breath becomes hot. And my body also leaning and I feel like getting a little deeper. Then I feel the hot and coldness of the in-breath and out-breath. I mean, coldness of the in-breath and warmth of the out-breath, and then still continuing my meditation. Then even the air conditioning is on and everything, I start like sweating like hell. I mean, it was so uncomfortable for no reason. And then at the same time, this some sort of light thing appeared. It became a little bit brighter, and then it just vanished. And then I thought I will straighten up, and it just disappeared. I mean, the whole thing. But what you think is a good thing or is a bad thing?
says that, if I am correctly understood, it says that the action of elements, so when you completely given up when the events to take place or natural law to work it out, at the time you feel you are like a volcano. It's about to burst, everything is bursting and you can't understand what is happening, but definitely you are in the phenomenon. And so you feel like a Mercurian sinking into the earth. So heavy, we can't shrink and it's like a python coming and putting and the grip line. Juice are going out and you're going down. And sometimes some person is holding from your hair and putting into water, so you feel like difficult to breathe. So sometimes you feel like you're in a cyclone, waving like that. So you completely try to understand with other people also feel like that, whether there's such a situation outside, definitely no. That is the way each and every element is going to come and say, hey, see that I came. So when Jnana used to say, the yogi must understand the language of the elements. They are not coming and shaking and giving the interest card. When the heat comes, that you have to understand this is the Tejo Dhatu. When the heaviness going to happen, you have to understand this is the Patavi Dhatu. When the fluidity, sometimes you feel sweating and nose also going funny and salivation, urination going to happen and everything like a, in Sinhala I would say, Dila Bhagadiya. Appear like a full of water and oozing. And you know there is no reason to happen like that. But they are just coming and going. Unless otherwise you fork your fingers. So therefore it's a good manifestation of individual elements. One day it happened to me, it is not in meditation. I am not usually wearing shoes. So it happened to me to go to a tile floor like that after 10 to 15 minutes of walking. And everyone was wearing shoes, I started sweating. So such a sweating, everything became muddy. So I feel that sweat's coming all around, I have no way. Because everyone, I am a monk. Everyone is looking, wherever I keep the steps, so become muddy. I feel ashamed, but you can't stop such a sweating. So I come to know, this is the way when the mind becomes tense and kind of thing. You feel like perspiring, it's like a volcano. So what to do?
Yeah, my mouth also was very dry.
So sometimes, the last time when I am going from here, I went with Indra, Maya's husband, Gita's. And when we are going there, of course we went 3 hours before. There was traffic jam, cost more than 1 hour. So slowly my tension is developing. I am observing the tension is developing. Now, Indran also little worked up. But anyway, we were talking. And when we go there, he told Bhante, you go to the queue, I will park the car and come. So my tension is slowly now increasing. So one person asked him, why you are not joining the queue? Then I told that one person is coming. And then again the shock came me. Now if I am not going to take the chance, if the plane is going to lose, so I wait to the queue. So when they are security gone and I am inside now. So Indian has to come because he is so concerned. Now another tension. No, I have to go to the gate or I have to wait for Indian. So we have a fair distance we have to go. So I am, while walking, I see everything is boiling. Boiling. So what to do? So I went there and I have 15 minutes. Open the computer to send the email, battery go. So I went to the next destiny was the Dubai, and there I wanted to have a recharging this thing, at least to tell him that I am secure. And when I opened the telephone, it is not working in this area. Definitely I am in full safe, but I just wanted to tell him. There, throughout that I observe how that my body is being used by these emotions, but everything happening. I feel I am just a slave. But anyway, I am in security, nothing to worry. Even the internet is worrying, it is worrying if I am mental. I am not. So throughout I was observing myself. So this time also when we go to the Frankfurt, plane has gone already. Because I have misread the thing, I thought 30, 4:20, it has told 3:05. So we went there at 3 o'clock, counter closed. And everyone was waiting me because manager has been informed, Sri Lankan monk is coming, you have to give upgrading and everything. He also has found that no. And luckily we went to the counter and gave the ticket. He was the person fixing the ticket in the last minute. That is his desk. We don't know it is 3. It's very, counter has closed. What do you mean? Plane has gone. Huh? Because there are 5 people yesterday evening only we came to catch the plane. We are traveling and all the kind of thing ultimately gone. Then one lady came now on the Monday to see whether you are running panic or not. Oh, what panic? You have to pay. I am not paying. Of course, what I am going to do is I am going to buy a ticket now for the next flight from the Frankfurt to Sri Lanka. Then do you want to buy a first class? Then I had the big business class, no problem. So now I observe myself and everyone is looking at me, whether I am in attention. Of course, it's a shameful thing for a person like me to lose it, but now it has already happened. So the person in the counter, he told, you can go 2 days time. Then I phoned the manager in Sri Lanka. He told, nothing to worry, give me the question, give me a few minutes. I will call the manager. The manager came, he also came. What happened? Don't stop. He told, 2 days time, definitely you can go, I will reserve the ticket. Then for 2 days you have to stay in a hotel. Then the people told, we can't keep it. Ultimately, we can't sleep these 2 days. Now on to offer. So you have to go to the temple close by, this told, that told. And that the man in the counter all of a sudden told, but one option is there, now it is 4 o'clock. There is a plane from Heathrow starting at 9 o'clock. If you can go to Heathrow, Air Lanka flight is there. Then I found Sri Lanka, I told definitely I will shift the ticket from here to there. And everyone was happy. 6 o'clock I was at the Heathrow. Luckily I had the multi-entry visa also. So everything happened. So I was observing things are happening in such a way, unless otherwise the manager was cooperative, they will never transfer the ticket. And there were some other lady, they can offer money. So everything happened. So if I am going to turn mad or become panicky, no one can arrive at a decision. Best thing is to let the things to happen in a very calm and quiet way, and then the best will happen. If your rational mind going to work, we never think about this kind of a flight. And the lady immediately came and said, I will buy a ticket for the Frankfurt to this thing. That's a separate issue, then you can go there. So likewise, when like the situation happened, we have to get the senses from the nature. Not the rational mind. Rational mind is panicky. It is always going for sweating and kind of thing. In meditation, you feel that kind of moods without any background. You feel like coming to such a tense, such a panicky situation. If the mind wish, it can make use of our body for any kind of a joke.
We put that to meet God.
Keep a little distance.
We put that to meet God.
Buddha has met God.
Yeah.
Buddha ever met God?
According to Buddhist cosmology, there are a lot of gods. So, number of gods came to pay respect to the Buddha. There is a Devata Sanyutta, number of suttas, they are the discussion with the Buddha and the God. Many gods. Which god you need to talk? Any particular name or any particular god you have in your mind?
Jesus.
Jesus, by the time he was not there, Buddha was 500 years before the Jesus. Jesus came much later in the procession.
Jesus was not God anyway.
Yeah. Jesus appeared in 540 or something.
God spoke to Jesus. God spoke to Jesus.
Jesus appeared 500 years later. Even the appearance, Jesus was human, but he also appeared 500 years later. Another 300 years later, only the Prophet Muhammad came into being. Buddha was much earlier, so they missed the bus.
So they lived in different times.
This Mecca was named after Muhammad. Was it there before?
Before it was, there was at that time it seems that the story was there had been 365 gods for 365 days. So everything was chaotic. Phantom gods and kind of. So then he wanted to organize it, so therefore he destroyed everyone. And he keep this Mecca only one. So even before going to Mecca was a period.
And they say they are doing that print.
Yeah, that is now they say that it is the Punnamantani Putta's place, known as, I can't remember that, there's a particular sutta, and that is the place where the footprint was there, like a Buddha footprint, and that was as a religious place beforehand, and he kept it, and it is what you find in the cube inside the cube.
So it's there.
They say it is not allowed for other religious people to go there. And but there's one thing you can look into that. If you are looking into that, appear like footprint or something like that. Kaba. Okay, now already 1 hour, so we'll go for 1 hour of walking and come back at 3:30. Thank you. Thank you very much for participation.